Okay, so let's take a look at question number 6. It's a word problem, and as we mentioned before, the way we deal with word problems is first we have to translate it into equation and then solve the equation for the unknown. Right? In order to translate the word problem, we have to know what type it is, so we know what type of equation we need to set up. So how do we do that? We look at the numbers. Okay, so looking at the numbers here and using the table below, we'll be able to identify what type of the 4 types of word problems it is. And based on that, we'll know which equation we need to set up. So looking at this, I'm looking at the numbers, and I'm looking also for the word, this magic set of words here, percentage of error, and I see percentage of error is right here. So this means that this is a proportion problem because it has percentage of error in there. So now we know what we're dealing with. We can go ahead to the proportion technique, which will tell us exactly what equation is set up and how to set it up. Right, looking over to the right, we see that the procedure for proportion is first to write the equivalence to fractions. So we're going to have one fraction, be step one, one fraction equaling another fraction. Right, so we look inside our word problem and we see sets of numbers. We have 450 toys and 45 of errors. So how do we know which is on top, which is on bottom? Well, whenever we see the words percentage of error, the default classification for what's on top and what's on bottom is the number of broken things over the number of whole things, or the total number of whole things. Right? And this is the total number of things. Total number of things. This is default. Whenever we see percentage of error, this is the default classification. All right, so now it makes sense. If we look at these two numbers, we have 450 toys and 45 have errors, right? So it says the number of broken things go on top, so we put the 45 on top. The total is 450. We put the 450 down there. Okay, so now we have to do the other fraction. So we look through here. They're not going to give us both numbers. They're only going to give us one number for the other fraction. It's either going to be the total number or the broken. So let's look at the other number here. Right here, it says 300 toys. Okay, and this was made in the second batch. Okay, so 300 is a total that goes on the bottom. All right. Now there's only one place for the unknown, and it's always going to be an unknown. Whenever we do a proportion problem, the equivalence to fractions, we're going to have one fraction equals another, and one of the fractions is going to have an x near the top and the bottom. In this setup here for this problem, there's only one place the x can go, and that's the top right here. All right, and this is your standard form proportion. Now the rest is just mechanical. We've done the first step, which is write the equivalence of two fractions. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the second step, which is we're going to cross multiply to get the equation. Why are we getting equation? Because we cannot solve anything if we don't have an equation to solve. So let's go ahead and get started. What we're doing is we're cross multiplying the tops with the bottoms. So we're going to cross multiply the x on top with the 450 on the bottom. That's going to give us 450x equals the 45 on top with the 300 on the bottom. That's going to give us 45 times 300. Okay, so that's step 2. We cross multiplied the tops and the bottoms. We got our equation. Step 3 is, it says simplify and solve. So, okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So we have 450x. Now we're going to simplify the right side. 45 times 300 is going to give us 13,500, right? That's the simplified part. And now we solve. We should know how to solve. Most of us should know how to solve. We just have to look at the variable side equal sign, which is on this side, and look at the operation that's happening to our variable. Variable is a letter. We're multiplying it by 450. So whatever operation is happening to our variable, we do the opposite. So in this case, if we're multiplying, we're going to divide by 450, right? And we have an equal sign here too. And the rule about that is whatever operation on one side equal sign, we must do identical operation on the other. So we're going to divide the other side by 450. And we simplify this. 450x divided by 450 is 1x, or just x, equals, and 13,500 divided by 450 gives us 30. So our answer is 30. And there we go. Okay, so I hope that helps. If it did, please remember to like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next video.